Hi, this is Carl with another Relax, Focus, Succeed video. Today I want to talk about the fact that you're correct doesn't put you in the right. You can be correct and wrong at the same time. And I'll give you a perfect example, the one that actually motivated me to make this video. The other day I was in line at a store and the woman in front of me was in a bad mood. I don't know why. I don't know anything about her. I don't know about her life. I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything except she was being very loud and very abrasive. And the clerk was having trouble with something. And at first I didn't know what it was. And then I realized it was related to change, whatever. She was trying to figure out something. Anyway, the woman just started yelling and screaming and, literally said the worst things I ever hear people say, which is, "Don't you know who I am?" The clerk is like, "Well, don't you know who I am? I'm here trying to help you. I'm here trying to serve you." And the woman said, "I don't, blah, 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 blah." Anyway, a fight ensued in which the woman then turned to me and all the people behind me and said, "Am I right?" And I'm like, oh, look, if the clerk can't count properly, doesn't have good math skills, if your calculation and her calculation are different, you might be correct, but your current behavior is not what I would call right. There are layers of rules in life. There's like the big rules that govern your entire life. Actually, at the very top, things that you don't control. Then there are big rules that you use to guide your life, long-term, big picture, things you teach your children. And then there are daily rules. How do I behave in a certain situation? And many people get carried away with the moment and what's going on right now, and they don't think about the big rules. They don't even think about the kinds of rules that they would teach their children. They don't think about what's appropriate and not appropriate. Now, everybody knows that. So here's the question, why am I making a video about this? Too many people go out in the world today with a chip on their shoulder. They're literally, I don't know why. I don't know why, but they literally go out thinking, nobody better mess with me today. And here's the thing. When you go out like that, you maximize the amount of stress in your own life. You might be correct in some interaction with somebody else, but when you violate the rules about how we treat each other with respect, then you are no longer right. So you can be both correct and wrong at the same time. And it's not good for you to go out like that. It's not good for your heart. Literally, it's not good for the stress in your life. It's not good for the chemicals inside your brain. It amps you up, it puts you into a fight or flight mode, and then it puts the other person into a fight or flight mode. There are ways that human beings should treat each other, and we all know them, and so the question is, why do people violate these? Part of it has to do with the fact that people don't have a philosophy about life. They don't think beforehand. Let's be honest. This was a perfectly predictable situation. I know that you've seen it 100 times in your life where you go out and somebody has a problem with the change, or they have an issue with the price, or the price is not what got applied at the counter. Okay. And then it becomes a problem, and if the person behind the counter can't fix it, which is very common today, then we want to amp it up and amp it up and amp it up. Now, think about what I just said. You've seen it before, you will see it again. You can choose right now today how you will respond the next time this happens to you. Now, this woman did not have any children with her, but one could imagine that she might have behaved differently if her children were there. I can't say that for a fact, but there's a way that our children affect us where we think, oh, I should demonstrate the right way that you do this. I should demonstrate this. And sometimes people get that wrong too, because they're saying, I should demonstrate to my children, don't let people push you around. If you don't treat people like garbage first, they're going to treat you like garbage instead. Well, I don't think that's a good way to go out in the world either. Too many people go through life as if every experience they have is unique, has never happened before, and is completely unpredictable. Well, that's just not true. There's times where you pick up the phone and you're going to call customer service and you literally prepare yourself for it. You get a cup of coffee, you make sure you've got something you can read while they put you on hold. You settle in for a long, drawn-out, pain-in-the-neck conversation before you get on the phone. So you know that it's going to be unpleasant and you have prepared yourself for it, right? Well, you know, in the course of the next 12 months, you will be faced with a situation at a checkout counter that isn't going the way you want it to go. You can decide today how you will behave. You can decide today what your attitude will be. And here's the power in that. If you think about it, you say, look, I don't know if it's going to happen in February or July or December. I don't know when it's going to happen. But here's what I do know. I can just take a deep breath and say, I knew that this was going to happen. I knew that I would be here. I didn't know it was going to be you, and I didn't know it was going to be today, but I knew this was going to happen. And so I'm just going to behave a certain way. I'm going to be calm. I'm going to not let my blood pressure rise. I'm going to say, oh, I recognize this situation. I knew that this was going to happen. I knew that I would be in this situation. Maybe not here, maybe not now, but I knew it was going to happen. And here's what I'm going to do. And you can be calm and collected. You know, you can ask for a manager without screaming. You can say, oh, may I please speak to your manager? And what's interesting, if you've ever been the second person in line in this situation, what you notice is when people ask for a manager in a calm, respectful voice, the answer is always, yes, I will help you right away. We'll get a manager right here. When people are yelling and screaming, I've been actually pretty impressed with how often the answer is, no, you cannot talk to a manager right now. Look for that. I think you'll be quite amazed. When you raise your voice, people in customer service know that it's coming. They have thought about this. They've been trained for this. They expect it in some ways. And so they have procedures that fall into place. They know how to treat people like that. They also know how to treat people who are calm and respectful and still have problems. You know, everybody gets bad change, everybody gets a bad experience, everybody gets a checkout experience that isn't quite what they were hoping for. It happens. It literally just happens. It's completely predictable. So how do you go out in the world? How will you respond next time? What will be your behavior? And I know it can still be very, very frustrating, but here's what I think you're going to find. If you go out without being prepared for a fight, if you go out saying, I'm going to put the respect thing first, I'm going to treat people the way I would want to be treated, guess what? You calm down the situation. In fact, it never quite escalates because it's just, oh, yeah, this is one of these situations where the price isn't coming up the way it's supposed to and I got to call the manager and they're going to fix it. Okay, they know that, you know that, it's all good. No one is in an unexpected situation if you behave that way. It's when you escalate by yelling and screaming and demanding that people should know who you are, which they never do. It's when you escalate that the problems actually go the wrong way. You also have to realize that the person you're dealing with has their own blood pressure situation going on, and when you yell and scream at them, putting them into fight or flight mode, they are going to react differently by nature. You know, these are human beings we're dealing with, right? So as you go out, just go out into the world with a little bit of a kinder tone and an assumption that they are doing A, the best they can, and B, they are trying to do the right thing. They don't want to irritate you. They don't want to piss you off. They don't want to make you angry. They don't want to give you bad service. They want you to have a great experience so that you will come back, you will spend their money, they get high marks, and they get to keep their job. This is not an adversarial relationship with the person at the counter who is trying to, see if your credit card works or give you the right price. So think of it in the kindest terms possible. And I've been in a number of presentations recently where I found myself saying, we always want to be judged by our intentions, but we judge others by their actions. Your actions matter, and how you will be handled in this situation is going to be determined in large part by the attitude and the intentions you take into it. Luckily, nothing I've said today applies to you personally, because you're never going to be that kind of person who is easily irritated, frustrated, and yelling and screaming and saying, "Don't you know who I am?" Please go out in the world with a little more kindness today and take that with you for the whole year. Just a little perspective from me. I would love your comments and questions. Please put them in the comments section below, and I promise I will respond to everybody. For Relax, Focus, Succeed, this is Karl Palachuk, wishing you the best of luck in everything you do.